The distress signal. The sickly flicker of emergency lighting cast violet shadows across Selena Vex's face as she dragged herself through the shattered corridor of the research vessel Celestial Seeker. Her normally iridescent scales had dulled to a matte gray, a sign of extreme stress among Tessarians, and the translucent membranes between her fingers were torn and bleeding from her desperate repair efforts. Behind her, the ship's quantum core emitted an ominous, fluctuating hum that made her heart race. That sound meant they had hours, not days. Status report, she wheezed into her communicator as she reached the bridge. The device crackled with static before responding. Life support at 26% capacity. Hull integrity at 39%. Engine functions at 11%. Power reserves at 18% and declining. The ship's AI responded in its characteristically calm voice, as though it were reporting nothing more serious than a minor course adjustment. Selena closed her large, almond-shaped eyes and leaned against the broken navigation console. The bridge, once a gleaming center of scientific achievement, was now a ruin of shattered screens and exposed circuitry. 3 of her fellow Tessarians lay in medical stasis pods along the wall, the only survivors from the bridge crew after the Vorax attack. Distance to nearest Tessarian outpost, she asked, though she already knew the answer. 7,290 light-years to nearest friendly territory. Too far. Much too far. The Celestial Seeker had ventured beyond the boundaries of known space to study a mysterious signal emanating from a previously uncharted star system. Their mission had been purely scientific. The Tessarians were explorers and researchers, not warriors. They had no substantial defenses against the Vorax battle cruiser that had appeared without warning. The attack had been swift and merciless. The Vorax hadn't even bothered to communicate before opening fire. Only Captain Niluri's quick thinking had allowed them to execute an emergency quantum jump away from the immediate danger, but the damaged engines couldn't take them all the way home. Now Captain Niluri floated in a stasis pod like the others, her silvery scales reflecting the dim emergency lights. Of the original crew of 26, only 17 had survived, and Selena was the only one still conscious. As chief engineer, she had stayed awake to attempt repairs, but the damage was too extensive. With a trembling 6-fingered hand, Selena activated the ship's log. "This is Chief Engineer Selena Vex, acting commander of the Tessarian research vessel Celestial Seeker," she began, her voice steady despite her fear. "Day 42 after the Vorax attack. Repairs have failed. Power systems are critical. I have placed all surviving crew members in stasis to maximize their chances of survival." She paused, looking at the faces of her sleeping crewmates. "I am about to activate our quantum distress beacon. I know the chances of anyone receiving it this far from civilized space are minimal, even if someone does hear us." She trailed off, thinking of the hostile species that might respond. Not everyone in the galaxy was as peaceful as the Tessarians. "Nevertheless, I must try. We are scientists. We have harmed no one. We seek only knowledge. If anyone receives this message, please help us." With that, she ended the recording and turned to the emergency console, the only system still functioning at full capacity. The quantum distress beacon was their most advanced technology, capable of sending an instantaneous signal across vast distances, bypassing the normal limitations of light speed. But it would drain what little power they had left. "Computer, prepare quantum distress beacon," she ordered. Warning: activating quantum distress beacon will consume 32% of remaining power reserves, the AI responded. "I understand. Proceed." Selena recorded a simple message explaining their situation, their peaceful intentions, and their desperate need for assistance. She deliberately omitted any mention of what they had discovered in that uncharted system. That information was too dangerous. "Activate beacon," she commanded. The lights dimmed further as the ship diverted precious power to the beacon. A soft hum filled the bridge as the distress call shot outward, traveling instantaneously through quantum space to cover thousands of light years in all directions. Message sent. The computer confirmed. Repeating signal every 6 hours until power reserves reach critical level. Now all Selena could do was wait and hope. She made her way to the crew quarters, checking each stasis pod to ensure her people were stable. The computer had put them into deep hibernation to conserve oxygen and food. Only Selena remained awake to manage what remained of their once proud vessel. As days turned into weeks, no response came. The ship's condition deteriorated further. Small meteor impacts caused additional hull breaches that Selena sealed with their dwindling supply of emergency patches. After nearly a month, she knew she had to make the hardest choice of her life. The life support system could no longer sustain her and keep the crew alive in their pods. She would need to enter stasis herself. Computer, prepare stasis pod for emergency suspension, she ordered, her voice hoarse from disuse. Warning. With no conscious crew members, ship functions will be limited to automated systems only. I understand. Proceed. Selena recorded one final message in the ship's log. This is Chief Engineer Selena Vex of the Tessarian research vessel Celestial Seeker. If anyone finds this ship, please help my crew. We are peaceful scientists who sought only to expand knowledge. What we discovered may be important for all spacefaring species. If no help comes, and this is our end, let it be known that we died in pursuit of understanding. May whoever finds us learn from our journey. As the stasis pod closed around her, Selena gazed through the small viewport at the endless stars. The distress beacon would continue its silent call into the void. The chances of anyone hearing it, anyone willing to help, were almost non-existent. But almost zero wasn't zero. That minuscule hope was enough for Selena to close her eyes and surrender to the cold embrace of suspended animation. Captain, you need to see this. Communications Officer Maya Chen's voice cut through the routine chatter on the bridge of the HSS Dauntless. The newly commissioned human warship was 3 months into its maiden patrol along the borders of Earth Alliance space. Captain Elijah Reeves looked up from his tactical display. Something in Chen's tone made him take notice immediately. At 43, Reeves was younger than most captains of vessels this size, but his record during the Proxima conflict had earned him this command. Tall and broad-shouldered with dark skin and prematurely gray hair cropped close to his scalp, he moved with the confident grace of someone who had spent his life in varying gravity environments. "What have you got, Lieutenant?" he asked, crossing to her station. "I'm detecting an unusual signal, sir. It's not on any frequency we typically monitor. It appeared suddenly, almost like it jumped into our sensors." Chen's fingers danced across her console. "It's definitely artificial, but the pattern doesn't match anything in our database. Origin. That's the strange part, sir. It's coming from deep space, well beyond our charted territories." Chen pointed to a section of the star map. "Approximately here. It's using some form of quantum entanglement communication, similar to our experimental systems, but more advanced." First Officer Commander Diana Walsh joined them, her expression skeptical. "Could be a trap. The Kelthid have been probing our borders for months." "Possibly," Reeves conceded. "But this doesn't match Kelthid tactics. They prefer direct confrontation." "I've managed to decode part of the message, Captain," Chen interrupted, her eyes widening slightly. "It's a distress call from someone called the Tessarians. They say they're a research vessel damaged in an attack. They need immediate assistance." "Tessarians." Walsh frowned. "We've never encountered that species." "No, we haven't," Reeves agreed, studying the signal pattern. During his 15 years in the Earth Alliance fleet, he had developed strong instincts about when something warranted investigation. Something about this signal felt genuinely desperate. Humanity had only been traveling interstellar space for 80 years. In that time, they had encountered 7 other spacefaring species, established peaceful relations with 4, tense standoffs with 2, and 1 outright conflict that had ended in an uneasy ceasefire. Earth's policy regarding unknown contacts was cautious but clear. Proceed with vigilance, but never ignore a call for help. Plot a course to the signal's origin, Reeves ordered. Lieutenant Commander Jackson at the navigation station looked up in surprise. Sir, that's at least 12 days at maximum FTL, and we'd be leaving our assigned patrol area. I'm aware, Lieutenant Commander. Reeves straightened his uniform jacket. But someone out there needs help. Captain, Walsh said quietly, Alliance Command may not approve of this deviation. Then we'll deal with the consequences when we return. Reeves turned to address the entire bridge. Ladies and gentlemen, in the history of human space exploration, we have never once ignored a distress call. I don't intend to be the first captain to break that tradition. Notify all departments to prepare for extended FTL travel. Communications, send a message to command informing them of our intentions. As the crew moved to carry out his orders, Reeves returned to his command chair. Walsh took her seat beside him. This is a risk, Elijah, she said softly, using his first name when no other crew could hear. The greatest risk would be losing who we are, Diana. He watched the stars on the view screen as the Dauntless altered course. If we stop helping others because it might be dangerous, we're no better than the Kelthid. The massive engines of the Dauntless powered up, and the ship accelerated to FTL speeds, racing toward the source of the mysterious distress call. As they traveled deeper into uncharted space, neither Reeves nor his crew could have anticipated how this simple act of compassion would forever alter humanity's place in the galaxy. On the crippled Tessarian vessel, Selena Vex floated in suspended animation, unaware that her desperate plea had been heard and that help was coming from a species she had never encountered and couldn't have imagined would risk so much for strangers. First contact. 11 days of faster-than-light travel had done little to ease the tension among the Dauntless crew. They had ventured far beyond the established borders of human space into territory that was, at best, unclaimed, and at worst, potentially hostile. The ship maintained battle readiness throughout the journey, standard procedure when operating in unknown space. Captain Reeves stood on the bridge, hands clasped behind his back as he studied the tactical display. 6 hours until they reached the coordinates of the distress signal, and every department was making final preparations. Captain, Commander Walsh approached with a datapad. Engineering reports all systems nominal. Medical has prepared isolation protocols in case the aliens carry pathogens. Security teams are equipped with non-lethal options for first contact scenarios. Reeves nodded. And the signal? Still active, sir, Lieutenant Chen reported from communications, but significantly weaker than when we first detected it. Whatever's generating it is running out of power. Let's hope we're not too late, Reeves said quietly. The tension on the bridge was palpable as the minutes ticked by. For most of the crew, this would be their first encounter with a previously unknown alien species. The Dauntless had been designed as a warship, built in the aftermath of the Proxima conflict, when humanity had learned the hard way that not all interstellar neighbors were friendly. Yet Reeves had always insisted that their primary mission was exploration and peacekeeping, not warfare. Dropping out of FTL in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, announced Lieutenant Commander Jackson from navigation. The view screen shifted as the distortion of FTL travel faded, revealing normal space once more. Drifting against the backdrop of distant stars was a ship unlike any they had seen before. Its design was elegant and flowing, with overlapping curved sections that resembled the petals of a flower. But even from a distance, the damage was obvious. Large sections of hull had been torn away, exposing internal structures. Debris floated around it in a slowly expanding cloud. "Scan that vessel," Reeves ordered. Lieutenant Commander Ortiz at the science station studied her readouts. "Definitely the source of the distress signal, Captain. Design doesn't match anything in our database. Hull composition includes several unknown alloys. Power output minimal. Life support is barely functioning. I'm detecting 17 life forms aboard, but 16 show extremely low metabolic readings. One appears to be in some form of suspended animation." "Survivors," Reeves said with relief. Any signs of other ships in the area? Negative, Captain, reported Tactical Officer Lieutenant Kowalski. We're alone out here. But there's evidence of weapons fire on the hull, high-energy plasma impacts, similar to but more advanced than our own weapons technology. Communications, continue hailing them on all frequencies, Reeves instructed. Dr. Patel, join the boarding team. If these people are injured or in stasis, we'll need your expertise. Dr. Sanjay Patel acknowledged the order from the medical bay. Preparing now, Captain. Commander Walsh stepped closer to Reeves. I should lead the boarding party, she said. Reeves considered for a moment, then nodded. Agreed. But be cautious, Diana. We don't know what happened here or who attacked them. They might not be the only ones who received their distress call. Understood. Walsh turned to leave the bridge. I'll take a security detail, Dr. Patel, and Lieutenant Rodriguez from engineering to assess their systems. As Walsh departed, Reeves returned to his command chair. Lieutenant Chen, any response to our hails? No, sir. If anyone's conscious over there, they're not answering. Keep trying. Reeves focused on the damaged alien vessel, wondering what kind of beings had built it and what had happened to them. In the 22nd century, humanity had reached for the stars with optimism and curiosity, only to find that the galaxy could be a dangerous place. Yet despite setbacks and conflicts, they had never abandoned their core principles. Explore, learn, and when possible, help those in need. The boarding shuttle launched from the Dauntless and slowly approached the alien vessel. From this close, the damage was even more evident. Massive holes had been blasted through multiple sections of the hull, though emergency force fields kept the atmosphere from venting completely. Those are definitely weapons impacts, Security Chief Lieutenant Hayes observed, checking her sidearm. Someone wanted these people dead. The shuttle pilot, Ensign Kim, located an intact docking port. Approaching now, Commander. Their systems appear compatible with our docking protocols. Walsh nodded. Proceed with caution. With careful maneuvering, Kim connected the shuttle to the alien ship. The team ran final checks on their environmental suits. While scans showed the atmosphere was breathable, standard procedure demanded caution during first contact situations. Atmosphere is breathable but thin, Dr. Puddle reported, checking his scanner. Gravity is active, but at approximately 70% of Earth normal. Temperature is just above freezing. Lieutenant Hayes led the way, the team moving cautiously through the airlock into the alien vessel. Their helmet lights illuminated the darkened corridors. The ship's architecture was unlike anything they had seen before. Doorways taller and narrower than human standards, with smooth, flowing lines that seemed to blend from one structure to another. Symbols in an unknown script adorned walls and equipment. It's beautiful, Rodriguez whispered, examining a control panel. These systems are incredibly sophisticated. Some of these components look more advanced than anything we've developed. They proceeded deeper into the ship, following life sign readings. The damage grew worse as they moved forward. Twisted metal, shattered equipment, and signs of fire that had been automatically suppressed. Whatever had happened here had been violent and sudden. Eventually, they reached a large chamber filled with pod-like structures arranged in a circular pattern. Each pod contained a slender, humanoid being with silvery blue scaled skin, large almond-shaped eyes, and 6-fingered hands. These must be the crew, Dr. Paddle said, examining the nearest pod. They're in some form of cryostasis. The pods are keeping them alive, but the system is failing. Walsh reported their findings to the Dauntless. Captain, we found the crew. They appear to be in suspended animation. Dr. Patel believes they're stable for now, but their systems are running out of power. Understood. Reeves' voice came through their comms. Is there any indication of who's in charge? The team searched the chamber until they found a pod that differed slightly from the others. Its systems showed signs of more recent activation. I think we found them, Dr. Patel said. This pod has only been active for a few weeks, while the others have been running for months. He studied the pod's control panel, comparing it to his medical scanner. "I believe I can safely revive whoever is inside." Hayes nodded. "Do it." Dr. Patil carefully worked with the alien controls. The pod hummed, and the frost on its clear cover began to melt. Inside, the blue-scaled being's eyes fluttered. The pod opened with a soft hiss, and the alien inside took a gasping breath before slowly sitting up, blinking in confusion at the strange beings surrounding her. Selena Vex had expected to die in her sleep as the ship's power finally failed. Instead, she awoke to find creatures in strange suits standing around her pod. Their bodies were bulkier than Tessarian physiology, and their faces were partially obscured behind their helmets. Fear shot through her body. Had the Vorax found them after all? One of the creatures stepped forward slowly and held up empty hands in what seemed to be a peaceful gesture. It touched a device on its suit, and a voice spoke in a language Selena had never heard before. The device on the creature's wrist glowed as it analyzed her physiological responses. After a moment, it began converting the alien's words into sounds that approximated the Tessarian language. "We mean you no harm," came the rough translation. "We received your distress signal and came to help. Can you understand me?" Selena's eyes widened in disbelief. "You received our signal?" she asked. "Who are you?" The universal translator processed her speech and converted it for the humans to understand. "We are humans from the planet Earth," the being explained, removing its helmet to reveal a face with brown skin, dark eyes, and black hair tied back neatly. "I am Commander Diana Walsh of the starship Dauntless. We detected your distress call and came to investigate. Are you injured?" Selena couldn't believe what she was hearing. An unknown species had traveled across space to answer her desperate call. It seemed impossible. "My crew," she said urgently, looking around at the other pods. "Are they alive?" The human who had identified himself as a doctor nodded. "They appear to be stable, but your ship's power systems are failing rapidly. We need to transfer you all to our vessel where we can help properly." Selena studied the strange beings surrounding her. After weeks alone in space, hunted by the Vorax, she had given up hope. Now these humans had arrived from nowhere. "Why?" she asked simply. "Why would you come so far to help strangers?" The humans exchanged glances, seemingly confused by the question. "Because you needed help," the doctor answered, as if it were the most obvious thing in the galaxy. "That's what we do." Over the next several hours, the Dauntless crew worked tirelessly to transfer the sleeping Tessarians to their medical bay. Captain Reeves ordered engineering teams to begin salvaging critical components and data from the damaged alien ship. Selena Vex stood on the observation deck of the human vessel, watching the stars through a large viewport. She had changed from her tattered uniform into clean clothes provided by the humans. While designed for human bodies, the fabric adjusted reasonably well to her slender frame. The door slid open, and Captain Reeves entered with Commander Walsh and Dr. Puddle. They invited her to join them at a conference table. "How are you feeling?" Dr. Patil asked. "Better, thank you," Selena replied. The universal translator had improved after analyzing more of her speech patterns. "I still cannot believe you came." Captain Reeves smiled. "Your distress signal was clear. Someone needed help." Selena tilted her head, studying these strange aliens. "In my experience, most species do not risk themselves for strangers." "Then perhaps you've been meeting the wrong species," Reeves said simply. "Now, can you tell us what happened to your ship?" Selena nodded and explained about the Tessarian research mission. She described how they were peaceful scientists exploring an unusual signal from an uncharted system, and how the Vorax had attacked without warning, damaging their ship before they could escape. "These Vorax," Commander Walsh asked, "are they likely to return?" "Yes," Selena said grimly. "They are methodical and thorough. They will want to be certain no Tessarian survived to report what we found." "And what did you find?" Reeves asked carefully. Selena hesitated. The Tessarians had strict protocols about sharing discoveries with unknown species. Yet these humans had risked their lives to save her people. They deserve some truth. "We discovered ruins," she finally said. "Ancient ruins on a planet in that system, built by a species that vanished millennia ago. The technology there, it could shift the balance of power in this sector of the galaxy. The Vorax want it for themselves." Captain Reeves exchanged glances with his officers. "Then we need to move quickly. Dr. Patel, how soon can the Tessarian crew be safely revived?" "I'd recommend keeping most of them in stasis until we reach Earth space," Patel replied. "Their medical needs are complex, and our facilities aren't designed for their physiology. Ms. Vex here is adapting well, but I wouldn't want to risk the others unnecessarily." Reeves nodded. "And the Tessarian ship, can it be salvaged?" "The damage is extensive," Walsh reported. "We could get basic systems running again, but without proper facilities, it won't be spaceworthy." "We should destroy it," Selena suggested. "If the Vorax find it, they will learn much about Tessarian technology, and they might be able to track where we've gone." Reeves considered this. "We'll salvage any critical systems and data, then we'll rig the reactor to overload once we're at a safe distance." Suddenly, the ship's alert system activated. Lieutenant Chen's voice came through the comm system. "Captain, to the bridge. We've detected multiple ships entering the system." Everyone rushed to the bridge. On the main view screen, 3 angular vessels approached, their hulls bristling with weapons ports. "Vorax warships," Selena whispered, her scales paling visibly. "Shields up," Reeves ordered calmly. "Battle stations." Around the bridge, the crew moved with practiced efficiency. Lieutenant Kowalski manned the tactical station, his fingers flying over the controls as he prepared the dauntless weapons. "They're hailing us," Chen announced. "On screen," Reeves commanded, standing from his chair. The view screen changed to show a harsh-looking alien with gray-green armored skin and yellow eyes. Sharp teeth showed when it spoke. "Unknown vessel," the Vorax commander said through the translation system. "I am Commander Krell of the Vorax Dominion. You are interfering with our military operation. Surrender the Tessarian research team immediately." Reeves stepped forward. "I'm Captain Elijah Reeves of the Earth ship Dauntless. We answered a distress call, as is our custom. The Tessarians are under our protection now." The Vorax commander's eyes narrowed. "Protection? This is not your concern, human. The Tessarians violated our territory. Hand them over, and we will allow you to leave." "I'm afraid I can't do that," Reeves replied evenly. "In our culture, when someone asks for help, we provide it. The Tessarians have requested asylum, which we've granted." Commander Krell seemed confused by this response. "You would risk conflict with the Vorax Dominion for aliens you just met. This is illogical." Reeves smiled slightly. "Perhaps, but it's our way." The Vorax commander's patience visibly ended. "You have 1 hour to surrender the Tessarians, or we will take them by force." The screen went dark. "They outnumber us 3-1, Kowalski reported. "Their weapons are powerful, but our scans indicate their shield technology seems less advanced than ours." Reeves turned to Selena. "Is there anything else you can tell us about Vorax tactics?" Selena nodded. "They always attack in rigid formations. Their commanders never deviate from established battle protocols. They consider it dishonorable to do so." A slow smile spread across Reeves' face. "Predictable tactics. That's something we can use." He turned to his crew. "We have 1 hour to prepare a surprise for our Vorax friends." As the humans began their preparations, Selena watched with growing fascination. These beings were nothing like the stories she had heard about emerging spacefaring species. Where others might have fled or surrendered, these humans were preparing to fight. For strangers they had just met. Perhaps, Selena thought, there was hope for her people after all. Race against time. The next 57 minutes aboard the HS Dauntless were a flurry of activity. In the medical bay, Dr. Patel and his team worked to stabilize the remaining stasis pods containing the Tessarian crew. In engineering, Lieutenant Rodriguez led a team reprogramming the ship's shield harmonics based on Selena's information about Vorax weapons. On the bridge, tactical simulations ran continuously as Captain Reeves and his officers developed a battle plan that flew in the face of conventional space combat doctrine. The Vorax expect us to either flee or engage in a traditional defensive posture, Reeves explained, gesturing to the tactical display where the 3 enemy vessels were represented by red triangles. Instead, we're going to split their formation. Commander Walsh studied the battle plan with a furrowed brow. It's risky. We'll be exposed on multiple fronts. Precisely why they won't expect it, Reeves replied. According to Ms. Vex, the Vorax adhere to strict protocols during combat. They've never encountered humans before. They have no way to predict what we'll do. Lieutenant Kowalski at Tactical looked up from his console. Commander Krell will expect us to either surrender or run. When we do neither, there will be a moment of confusion before they adapt. And that moment is our advantage, Reeves concluded. Selena Vex stood at the periphery of the bridge, watching these aliens plan with a mixture of awe and concern. The Tessarians weren't warriors. They had always relied on diplomacy and, when necessary, retreat. The humans' willingness to face the Vorax was both inspiring and terrifying. "Captain," she said, stepping forward, "there's something else you should know about what we discovered." The bridge crew turned to face her. Reeves nodded for her to continue. "The ruins we were studying contain technology far beyond anything currently known to spacefaring species in this sector," Selena explained. "We believe it was left by the ancestors, what you might call the precursors, who vanished from the galaxy 50,000 years ago." "What kind of technology?" Walsh asked. "Energy manipulation unlike anything we've seen before. The ability to create stable wormholes through space. And weapons capable of destroying entire fleets." Selena's scales rippled with anxiety. "My team was only beginning to understand what we found when the Vorax attacked. They must have been monitoring us. They want that technology for themselves." A heavy silence fell over the bridge as the implications sank in. "That explains their determination," Reeves said finally. "If such technology fell into the hands of an aggressive species like the Vorax, it would shift the balance of power across this entire sector of the galaxy," Walsh finished. "They could expand their territory unchecked." Reeves turned to Selena. "Your research data, is it preserved?" "Yes," she confirmed. "It's stored in our ship's secure database and in personal data crystals carried by our lead scientists. The Vorax don't know how much we've learned or documented." "Then securing that data is now a priority alongside saving your crew," Reeves decided. "Commander Walsh, assign a team to retrieve all research materials from the Tessarian vessel." "Captain, 30 minutes until the Vorax deadline," Lieutenant Chen announced from communications. Reeves nodded. "All departments, report readiness." One by one, the ship's sections confirmed their preparations. Security teams were stationed throughout the vessel, ready to repel boarders if needed. Engineering had reinforced the shields and optimized the engines for quick maneuvers. Medical reported that the Tessarian stasis pods were now connected to the Dauntless power systems and stabilized. "Lieutenant Rodriguez," Reeves called over the comm. "Status on the Tessarian ship?" "We've retrieved their navigation logs and primary research data, Captain," came the reply. "And we've rigged their reactor to overload on your command. The remaining power will last approximately 2 hours before critical failure." "Excellent work. Return to the Dauntless immediately." As the final preparations were made, Selena approached Captain Reeves. "Your people risk much for beings they've never met before," she observed. "It's who we are," Reeves said simply. "Humanity learned long ago that our strength lies in standing together against threats. We extend that principle to others when we can." "The Vorax will not stop," Selena warned. "Even if you defeat these 3 ships, they will send more. One problem at a time, Ms. Vex," Reeves smiled. "First, we survive the next hour. Then we get your people to safety. After that, Our governments can discuss a more permanent solution to the Vorax threat. Captain, 15 minutes to deadline. Chen announced. Battle stations, Reeves ordered, returning to his command chair. All hands, prepare for combat. On the bridge of the Vorax command vessel Relentless Conquest, Commander Cavey and